Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Warrior Wellness Podcast. My name is Morgan Trimper, and I'm the Performance Nutrition and Wellness Coordinator over at Warrior Ice Arena. I'm so excited for today's episode because we're diving into a topic that I feel like so many parents, coaches, even athletes themselves struggle with, and that's picky eating. Whether you're a child growing up, going through different stages of life, or you're at prep school, eating in a dining hall, at public school, high school, eating in the dining halls again, or just navigating college again, away from your parents, trying to figure out what works for you. And if you're listening right now thinking, this is my kid, or maybe even this is me, you're in the right place. So today we're going to break down why picky eating happens, what actually makes it worse without you even realizing it, and simple, realistic strategies to help build healthier eating habits without stress, putting pressure on yourself or your child, or any food battles. So because here's the truth. This isn't about forcing perfection. It's about building confidence, consistency, and positive relationship with the food that you're presenting or that you're eating. So, part one here, what is picky eating really? What is the foundation of picky eating? Let's start by normalizing this. Picky eating is very common, especially in kids. It is a common theme, and it might look like only eating a handful of foods, refusing vegetables or certain food groups, suddenly rejecting foods they used to love, wanting the same meal over and over again. It's familiar, they know they like it. And parents often think, what am I doing wrong? Right? But here's the reality of it. Picky eating is often part of development. Kids are learning independence, their taste buds are evolving, their brains are wired to be cautious of new foods. Again, this same thing goes for when kids go off to college, right? They might experience different eating habits because they're in a changed environment, they're learning independence. So instead of seeing it as a problem, I want to reframe it as this is a phase where we can build habits the right way, building that foundation. Okay? Because how you respond to picky eating matters more than the picky eating itself. So, the biggest mistakes here, let's talk about what doesn't help necessarily, because this is where most people get stuck with trying to navigate picky eaters. Have you ever said, just take one bite? You're not leaving the table until you finish this, or maybe a completely separate meal just so that they'll eat something, right? Preparing something completely separate from what you had originally planned. Totally understandable. But here's the issue. Pressure creates resistance. Short order cooking reinforces picky habits. And food becomes stressful instead of enjoyable. When you eat, you should be enjoying your food. You should be tasting all the tastes. You should be analyzing the texture. Is it sweet? Is it salty? Is it crunchy? Is it soft? Right? And when food becomes a battle, nobody wins. And it doesn't create a very enjoyable environment for anybody. So instead of controlling how much or whether they eat or you eat, we should shift into controlling the environment. So this is somewhat of a mindset shift. This is the most important part of this entire episode here. As the adult, it's your job to decide what food is offered and when it's offered. And your child's job is to decide if they eat it and decide how much they eat of it. So this takes the pressure off, having those distinct roles. Because forcing food might work in the moment, but it doesn't build long-term healthy habits or a food relationship between your child and the food that you're presenting and eating. We're not chasing short-term wins. We're trying to build lifelong confidence around foods. Okay, so just some practical strategies here. Exposure over pressure, right? So kids often need to see the food maybe 10, 15 times before even trying it. Okay, so instead of forcing it, just keep putting it in out on the plate, no pressure. Even if they don't touch it, it's still progress. They're seeing the food. Maybe one time they'll be interested. Maybe they'll touch it. Maybe they'll taste it on their tongue. Next time they'll chew it, right? So slowly integrating the food into their plate and just continuously offering those food items. Make them part of the process. And this was so important. I remember when I was younger growing up, cooking with my mom all the time, whether I was actually intentionally cooking with her or I just wanted to play with the kitchen toys, whatever it was, I was a part of that process. So taking them to the grocery store, let them pick out a fruit or vegetable that they would like to try. Let them bring it home. Let them cook it, prepare it. Right? When kids get involved and they feel involved in the process, they feel more in control and they're way more likely to try new foods, right? When I was little, my mom would bring me to the grocery store with her weekly, and she would always say, you get to pick one food each week, whether it's a fruit, a vegetable, a new protein option, a new fun snack, right? Obviously keeping it balanced, but she would always allow me to pick one new food for me to try, and I ended up trying eggplant when I was younger. I always grabbed for a fun snack here and there. Um, so I was often exploring the grocery store. I was exploring the produce section. I was asking the meat counter about different kinds of meats just because I was curious. So really making it an experience and including them in that process. Third here is offer choices, but keep them structured, right? So we're not completely going off and making a whole new entire meal, but maybe instead of do you want broccoli, try do you want broccoli or carrots, right? Now you have control. So you're controlling again which vegetable they're eating, a vegetable, which one. You're giving them two options, but they also feel in control where they get a choice, right? So we're keeping it structured, but also allowing that flexibility to have a choice. So now again, they have control, but within a healthy boundary, okay? Keeping family meals consistent. So this is such a hard piece nowadays with everyone running around to practices and school and jobs and gyms and all the things that eat up our entire day. Sitting down and eating together when you can. Kids learn by watching, right? They absorb everything like a little sponge. So if they see you eating and enjoying a variety of foods, that matters more than anything. I think an important piece to this also that I really guide on is when you look down at your plate, can you see color? Is it all the same color, right? Do we have fruit? Do we have a vegetable? Do we have a carb? Do we have a protein? Do we have a healthy fat? When we look down at our meal, can we check off a majority of those boxes? And ask your kids, what's the protein in this meal tonight or in this lunch? And it doesn't have to be a huge conversation, but just get them thinking about what they're eating, looking down at their plate. Are they getting all the food groups? Make it fun conversation. Always include a safe food. So this is key, especially with picky eaters. Include at least one food you know that they'll eat alongside a new food. This way they don't feel overwhelmed. You're not making separate meals, but you're also starting to integrate those new foods with a familiar food that they already like. So this is a really key part to it. When I was younger, my mom used to make boxed mac and cheese, loved boxed mac and cheese, Annie's mac and cheese. She would buy the orange colored kind, and she would end up going to the grocery store and buying frozen butternut squash pieces, chunks, in the frozen vegetable section. She would take it home, let them thaw out, put it in the blender with the cheese packet, a little bit of milk, a little butter, and make a cheese sauce that you would normally dump onto the boxed mac and cheese. But she would just add in that butternut squash. It was orange. It tasted like cheese. She would dump it right over my mac and cheese. And to me, I didn't see the process all the time, so I thought I was just eating my normal boxed mac and cheese, but really there was a whole bag of frozen butternut squash in there. So again, safe food was that mac and cheese. Maybe out of the safe zone was that butternut squash, but she disguises it a little bit where I couldn't really tell in the moment when I was eating it. So just integrating here some real life scenarios. So let's pretend your child only wants one food, okay? They only want pasta every single night. You can still serve pasta, but pair it with a protein or a vegetable, and that exposure will build over time, right? So building that normalcy of having pasta, yay, yes, we love pasta, that's your comfort food, but also adding in that protein option or that vegetable. Again, that'll also add some fiber, that'll add obviously protein, so a lot of key nutrients and macronutrients here, in addition to that safe food of pasta. Okay, snacks over meals. This is a really common one. A lot of kids prefer to have snacks over bigger meals. A lot of times snacks, again, are one item. They're comfortable with it. They like it. Whereas meals, you're now incorporating a couple different items, which can be overwhelming. So if they're consistently snacking, they won't necessarily be hungry at meals, right? So maybe not likely to be as adventurous with their foods. So set a structured snack times so they come to meals actually ready to eat a meal, right? We want to make sure that they're maintaining their nutrition and their fuel and their energy throughout the day with those snacks. Those are a support, but really getting those nutrient-dense foods at our meal times. Encouragement in the big picture here. So I want to say this because it's important. If you're dealing with a picky eater, you're not failing. This is not about being perfect. It's not about being a perfect parent or creating the perfect eater, right? This is about building trust, confidence, and a positive environment around food. So progress might look slow. That's okay because small exposures are small wins and those will create lifelong change. We want to encourage a fun, healthy environment around food. Again, integrating your kids into the process is such an easy, fun way to expose them to all different aspects of food, nutrition, health, and wellness, right? Making a grocery list, right? Now they're learning structure and planning ahead. Going to the grocery store and being a part of that grocery shopping adventure, right? Making an adventure. Maybe make on Pinterest, they have all these little grocery shopping bingo cards and all these fun things that you can do while you're at the grocery store. Again, bringing those foods home, maybe helping them bag the foods at the grocery store, helping them bring the groceries to the car, packing up the car, bring them home, unload the groceries. Where do all the dry foods go? Where do all the eggs go and the milk? And organizing all the food. And then being able to take those foods that they were a part of purchasing, getting, bringing them home, prepping the meals, and then when they sit down to eat that food, they're going to be so proud of all the work that they were a part of to get to that point. So really exposing them in all those different ways. Again, you don't have to do that all in one go every single time, but if there's a piece of that process that they can be involved in, absolutely invite that in. Just to close here, wrapping this up, picky eating is normal. This is not an oddball thing. This is something that you can grow into or grow out of. Again, during transitions when things are unfamiliar, sometimes picky eating or honing in on your food and being a little more hyper aware is normal. Again, transitioning to college, again, you're eating in a dining hall, your parents aren't around, maybe they're not prepping the food, right? So you can transition into those types of eating habits. Same thing when you're going through changes when you're younger. Your taste buds are developing, everything's developing. So picky eating is normal. Pressure often makes it worse, where when we put pressure on someone to have to eat this, you have to eat that, it puts a lot of stress and pressure on that individual. So again, keeping those healthy boundaries and standards of offering a choice, but keeping it within the means of what you're offering. So if it's a vegetable, instead of giving them a single vegetable that they have to eat, they have to try, maybe giving them the option of 2 vegetables you might have on hand and allowing that flexibility. Consistency and exposure are everything. So even if it doesn't take the first time, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, right? Still offering it and having it there. Again, if it's something you eat often, it's in your fridge regularly, let's say cucumbers. They're always in my fridge. I would just put them out in a bowl and offer it as a snack. Maybe have a little ranch on the side, make it more fun. You can cut them into little stars or little figures and maybe make it more fun that way. So it doesn't have to be just about the actual physical food. You can make it fun by adding dips or sauces, cutting different shapes, all that kind of stuff to help ignite that interest in the food. But again, keeping consistent exposure, allowing them to see it, feel it, touch it, maybe put it on their tongue, chew it, really allow them to feel all the sensations of the food. A lot of times I do with my teams mindfulness talk, and we talk about really taking the time to taste your food. Let it hit your taste buds. Is it sweet? Is it salty? Is it crunchy? Is it soft? Right? Those are all the things that we like to analyze to really allow our body to soak in the experience. And your goal is not perfection, right? It's building lifelong healthy habits. So we're not aiming to have our child be eating perfectly every single time, every single day, every single meal, right? We want to build lifelong healthy habits. So when you find your child is struggling with picky eating, navigating that with those fun interactive ways, being consistent, allowing that choice, again, within that structured means, are all ways to help avoid that picky eating or grow out of it or transition into that environment that's really inviting for new, different, exciting foods. And if you take one thing away from this episode, let it be keep showing up, keep offering, keep it positive, and keep growing that confidence that you are instilling in your child, okay? Creating those healthy eaters, those healthy habits. So I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We'll keep breaking it down for real, practical, and fun ways to fuel your body, support your body through your performance, support your family, and build healthy habits that actually last. So next episode, we're going into fueling on the go. So for the busy parent or busy kids that want some fueling on the go tips and advice, definitely tune in.